Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. It's an Open the Box and it's an unboxing of a solitaire World War II air warfare game, and it is Storm of Steel, Ju-87 Stuka on the Eastern Front, designed by Joe Fernandez and published by Compass Games. So, what's all this about? We dropped our bombs. We then went down to the deck, firing our guns. The confusion was indescribable. Hans Ulrich Rudel, take command of the legendary Stuka dive bomber on combat missions over the vast battlefields of the Eastern Front. Select and equip your Stuka Staffel with historically named pilots and gunners, or create your own. Lead your unit during the opening days of Operation Barbarossa, targeting Soviet airfields, troop concentrations, rail lines, convoys, tank formations, and more. Attempt the final drive on Moscow during Operation Winter Storm. Continue your career to participate in Case Blue and the offensive on Stalingrad. Use the newly converted Ju-87G Stuka tank killer during Operation Citadel to destroy enemy armor. Conduct maritime missions to sink and disrupt the Red Navy on the Gulf of Finland and the Black Sea, utilizing specialized ordnance. Log your missions, scores, and gain experience for yourself and your unit. Manage replacements and repairs of your aircraft, as well as your wounded and replacement crew. Balance mission assignments, crew, and aircraft to develop a long-term winning strategy. Command your Stuka squadron to execute close air support missions along the Eastern Front from the opening day of Operation Barbarossa on June 22, 1941, up to the Kursk offensive in 1943. Lead a Staffel or Kette from Sturzkampf Geschwader 1, 2, or 77 as you fly missions deep into enemy territory. Avoid enemy fighters and endure murderous anti-aircraft fire to deliver your deadly payload. There we go. Here's the mounted map. Two types of aircraft cards and some of the counters. And in the box, we've got that map, 22 by 34 inch mounted air operations mat, two counter sheets of 9/16 of an inch counters, 16 aircraft cards, and 24 event cards, one double-sided player aid card, one single-sided player A card, one how to play card, one pad of mission log sheets, one rules booklet, one 10-sided die, and 3 6-sided dice. And here, as mentioned earlier, the designer Joe Fernandez, project director John Krantz, game artist Bruce Yerian, and the box cover design also by Bruce Yerian. Complexity medium, timescale 1 turn equals 20 minutes, map scale 1 zone equals 60 kilometers, unit scale 1 unit, single aircraft, number of players 1, of course. Suitability for solitaire, of course, it's high. Average time to play 30 minutes to 6 hours, and recommended age 14 plus. Right, let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off, so let's open the box. And the first thing we see in the box, we've got some plastic bags, our dice, 3d6 and d10, and the cards, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But first, let's have a look at the rules. In the bag, you may have seen a little slip of paper. Don't panic, it's not errata, it's just saying that counter sheet 2 is sort of duplicated. You've got 2 copies of it. So that's rather good of them. So the rule book, full colour of course, glossy paper, and comes in at 22 pages. We've got Contents here. We've got the credits. What is Storm of Steel? Introduction to gameplay. And as always, this is the first time I've actually looked through, so it's new for me, as it is for you if you're not familiar with the game. So objectives, flying missions, career, maintenance, scoring, components, the air operations mat, which we'll have a look at, and the aircraft cards, play aids, charts and logs. This looks pretty straightforward to play if you've played solitaire games a la Gregory Smith or DVG leader games. There's some similarities there. Game markers, here's the event cards, and now how to set up the game. You have to pick a flight leader, I think. Whether or not you're going to fly the Staffel or a smaller Keter. Choosing your ordnance, special loadouts, then picking your operation. And I think most people start at the beginning. Barbarossa, there are maritime missions. So yes, it says the mission zone track is abstracted. The game is abstracted a lot, as it has to be. You do a single mission if you want. If you want something quick. How to play. So it takes you through all the things you've got to do, but I understand there's a how to play player aid in the box, which I would think once you've read the rules, using that how to play player aid will be sufficient. Very wordy. Needs some pictures, I think. It tells you how to set up and get ready for your mission. Flying out to your mission, your bombing attack run, and then flying back. Crew and aircraft management chart. We'll see this on the game board. As you use your pilots, they can rest because they will get stress. And replacements if any aircraft are destroyed or crew is KIA'd. Depends how long it'll take for them to come back in. Playing the event cards, I think that's every time you move into a different zone. You may get intercepted by Soviet aircraft. When you get over the target area, what's the visibility like? Anti-aircraft fire, and then bombs away. And then you'll see how accurate your bombing has been for each of your aircraft. You may get damaged. Here's the damage markers, or wounded. There's that dreaded stress, which I'm certainly familiar with DVG leader games. And it's an important part in this game as well. You have to rest your crew so they can get rid of that stress. And then returning to base, filling out the log sheet. At the end of the segment or operation, you may be able to promote the crew, how to score, and the scoring modifiers. Yeah, each operational segment is scored as an average. And how to score the grand campaign. Maritime scoring is a little different, I think. So make sure you fill out your mission log sheet properly. Manage your crew, any casualties. Mission timer says it corresponds to the number of missions the Staffel or Keter must fly in order to receive a replacement. Then you get a new green crew, and aircraft repair replacement track will tell you how long it takes to repair or get a replacement aircraft. Careers and promotions, so green, veteran, ace, elite and hero. And there we are. It's a very wordy rule book, but I think it's easy enough to read. It's very, like most solitaire games, is going to be following a set procedure. So once you get that down, it'll be a doddle, as we say. Designer notes. Little bibliography and some references and an example of play, which is always good, just to make sure and confirm that you're doing it correctly. There we are. And a manifest of the counters on the back. Doesn't look too bad at all. Them's the rules. Here's that how to play player aid I mentioned earlier, with everything you need to know about your mission, how to select and planning the mission itself, bombing, and returning to base and landing. Some end of mission reminders here. Here's the first of the player aids showing you the charts and tables. A lot of these are on the game mat, as you'll see. Here we've got your operations and mission table, which you'll roll depending on what bit of the campaign you're doing. Bombing and attack accuracy scoring table, ordnance availability and attack DRM, your target visibility when you get to it, operation and campaign scoring, and the dreaded anti-aircraft. On the other side, we've got the fighter intercept table, the Luftwaffe escort table, and the enemy approach and attack table. There's a second single-sided player aid with some more charts. Aircraft damage, crew stress, bailout. And what happens when you get a successful bailout over enemy territory. Landing table, forced landing survival table, the crew individual survivor table, destroyed aircraft replacement table, how long it will take to get a new one, and crew recovery and replacement table, and aircraft repair times table. Let's have a look at those cards now. Just before I show you the cards, just want to give a big shout out to Second Chance Games over here in the UK, and indirectly I suppose Compass Games, because when I got my copy of Storm of Steel, even though the cards were sealed, I had some missing in both the event deck and the Stuka cards. But contacting Second Chance Games, they sorted that out for me, got some new ones sent across, and were duly received, and now everything's tickety-boo, and I've got the right amount of cards. So thanks to all concerned for that. Right, here's the event cards, 24 of them. I'll give you a quick look through. Don't want to show you them all because everybody likes a surprise, but these are good and bad, and are picked up as you fly towards your target and back. And here are the Stuka cards, which you're going to use. Put your pilots on, any damage, stress, and all that sort of thing. So here are the JU-87Ds. Then later on, I think these become available, the 87Gs. There we are. That's the cards. Here are the two counter sheets. They're wrapped in cling film. So let's see if we can get that off without the counters exploding all over the place. Mission accomplished. Here's the first sheet. We've got our damage markers here. Stress is ×2. Some more admin counters. Here are the dive bomber squadrons. Mission timer. I assume this is put onto the mat to inform you when the aircraft are coming back. Here's the type of missions. Scores. These go on to the mat as well, and these do as well. Some minus zone counters here, wounded counters, and here are the pilots. We've got the green pilots, the green gunners, ace pilots, veteran, and down here we've got the actual pilots themselves and gunners, and these are used to represent their skill level, if you like. And on the other side, just some info about the DRMs, the level of pilots have, and what skills they have. Here's sheet 2, and as it said on that little slip of paper at the beginning, we've got 2 copies of the same thing, so we can put these away as spares. But here are all the pilots named and gunners. Something's been destroyed here. Here's Rudell's Gamble. And these, I think, are put into a cup when you have to draw for a random aircraft. A pad of single-sided mission logs. Quite a few of those. And the last thing out of the box is the mounted air operations mat. So let's have a look at that. So here it is. It's standard size, 22 by 34 inch. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very abstracted game. We'll have a close-up of all the different areas of the mat, but here you can see most of the charts and tables are on the mat itself. Over here we've got the mission ordnance, and here is where we're going to lay out our aircraft, up to 10 of them, and those score and DRM counters will be placed on here for each aircraft. We use this in case we're attacked by Soviet aircraft. Damaged or destroyed aircraft are placed there. Up here we've got the holding areas for the event cards. Here's the mission zone track, so depending on what you roll on this chart here determines how far out it is from your airfield, and also your place on here, what sort of target you're attacking. The crew and aircraft management charts are here. So I'll tell you what, just to finish off, we'll have a little close-up of the different parts of this mat. Starting over at the top left, we can see those charts and tables. Here's the mission ordnance box. The flying circle here, if you're attacked, and the damaged, destroyed aircraft holding box. Moving across to the top right-hand part of the mat, we've got the mission zone track. Here's your airfield, and the 2 holding boxes for the event cards and the discarded event cards. Moving further down on the right-hand side, we've got a better view of the crew and aircraft management chart with some end-of-mission reminders here. So any wounded pilots and gunners go there, and I think this tells you how long they've got to stay in hospital before they're back on duty. This is a similar thing, but for damaged aircraft that are either being repaired or you're waiting to be replaced. And any available crew that isn't flying will be placed here along with their stress. And down here we've got the replacement crew track. Tells you how long you have to wait for replacements for your pilots that have unfortunately been KIA'd or have been taken prisoner. And finally, this is where you'll place your aircraft and your crew counters, pilot and gunner and so forth, along with specialized ordnance, the DRM you're going to get for this mission, and your bombing score. And that's it. That's everything in the box. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of a solitaire air war game from Compass Games. Storm of Steel, Junkers 87 Stuka, Eastern Front, designed by Joe Fernandez. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. If you did and you haven't done so already, it would be wonderful if you would at least consider subscribing to the channel, because that really does help. Another thing that's of great use to the channel is if you push the old thumbs up, the like button underneath the video. That tickles YouTube's algorithm for the channel. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel does upload, then push the bell. But as always, make sure you push all notifications. Otherwise, YouTube may well forget to tell you. Leave a comment. There's a couple of playthroughs of this. I know Dave's Gaming Cave has done one, and I hope that not in the too far distant future, I'll be doing one as well, but let me know, what do you think? Because as I keep telling you, I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers, thank you so much. And as always, just before I go, very quickly, if you wish to support the channel a little bit further, you can. You can buy the channel a coffee, and there's a link for that in the description. Or you can push the super thanks button underneath the video, because those little contributions really help the channel to keep ticking along. So if you decide to do that, thank you. So until the next video, which I hope you can join me for, as always, you take care and goodbye.